Welcome, a big welcome to you as we move into Series 2 of Experience Living Purposefully into Your Very Own Story. Series 2 is made up of experiences 11 to 20, and each one of these experiences is some aspect of how our very own stories interweave. And this one today is about pools of pain. Experience 15. I invite you to pause. Sit comfortably on your chair. Leave all else as distraction as you let your inner being reveal to you how you are in your private self arena right now. Hold whatever is revealed gently, without adjustment. Soak or rest in how it is for you and receive what is revealed or what reveals itself graciously. When the time is right for you, let your awareness return to the energy of the room. Perhaps you may choose to speak or write what surfaced for you. Here, in this slide, I have the 4 terms that we used in experiences 13 and 14. In an imperfect world, we all arrive at what I've called a survival strategy for how to cope. It is unique to each person. And for every shovelful that builds up that mountain of energy experience, there's an equivalent shovelful goes into the private self arena, which is at first unaware, and it's some part of ourselves which becomes, it's there, but it's not addressed in our life. And I am calling that inner self-awareness wipeout. So we move forward from that. Now, underpinning inner self-awareness wipeout realities are pools of pain. I'm using the examples we've used in 13 and 14 and taking it to this next layer. So, solved a problem at 10, went into action when anything that I didn't like happened. The self-awareness wipeout did not play, and what happened was that I didn't have a normal growth pattern of integrating pain into my life. I escaped pain. That is what happened. For the person who didn't kick in her mother's womb, she gave up living freely. The part that she gave up being herself, the part that got hidden was living freely, and the part that was the pain was if we don't live freely, there's a pain in living in within confined limits. For the person who sensed she wasn't wanted and made herself indispensable, the wipeout was that she didn't integrate herself into her caring and actions, and the pain that was building up in the background again was I am unimportant. At birth, this one embraced joy in the now. What went into hibernation was the grounding sense of safety, and there was the pain that happens to all of us when we sense insecure. But for all of these pools of pain, they're not in our awareness. They are the pain that is attached to what has been wiped out in our inner private self arena. Mother dies at 4. This person's strategy was to love and trust big animals. The part that was in the inner self-awareness wipeout was people are trustworthy, and there's a pain in if you can't trust people that you're not loved. You have a sense of not loved. For the girl who was abused from 4 to 16, the only way she could live was to accept and use and abuse. And the part that went in to her unawareness and a wipeout for what she was aware of was that she could expect respect from other people. And there's a pain when you are not respected. So her pool of pain was there when building up for every shovelful of the inner self-awareness wipeout, the pool of pain was growing. When there are constant negative sayings, and they're said so often that we begin to take them on board and to act appropriately, the part that goes in is the truth that we are not all of the negative. And there's a pain in when you don't feel useful, or you don't feel, when you call stupid and you don't feel like you can cope with life, whatever the negative is, there's a pain in it. Failed an exam at 17, in deep shock, harshly self-critical, used study as an escape. The part that went into self-awareness wipeout, that life is a mix of ups and downs. Then, what went into the pain was the sense of failure and being inadequate. Over and over, there, the pool of pain, building up, not being dealt with. Because it's not in awareness. And the last one of these 10 examples that I've been using, living a role, so the concentration of the strategy was on other people's needs. The part that went into awareness wipeout was that that person has their own realities that need to be integrated into life. And the part that's in the pool of pain is the pain that goes with low self-esteem, not having sense of self, not seeing that yourself is being integrated appropriately. These are all really spontaneous reactions to pain, and for every one of us, the pool of pain that is associated with inner self-awareness wipeout is built up and not dealt with in the normal way, as it is with people who haven't got that pool of pain. They will have a different pool of pain. And pools of pain are unique to each person. Pools of pain. I have some points that I would like to note for you. There is likely to be a very strong emotional reaction when one of these pools of pain bursts into consciousness for the first time. For example, tears welling up without warning, and sometimes they can be floods of tears on the first appearance. Strong, loving, touching the heart, physical and emotional reactions. So the pools of pain aren't necessarily negative when they burst into consciousness. A person who has felt unloved, when the first time it gets through that they're loved and the pool of pain is breaking the dam wall, if there's touching of the heart. The experience of being loved is kind of unbelievable, and all the pain bursts forth. This is cure for the pain. So often there are really strong emotions. They're not always negative emotions. And if that happens to you or to someone you know, it is good news, because this is about the invitation to grow into wholeness, and also a sign that healing for what was wiped out, and the pain that was caused by what was wiped out is going to take another step. There's time for you now to let an experience surface when you felt some form of painful reaction surfacing unexpectedly from within. Notice in this now any feelings that followed the emergence then. Perhaps speak or write what you notice and or what surfaces. Summary. For every action choice in our conscious outer world stance, there are feeling reactions and other potential consequences in our private self arena, stored in our well of sensory memory. And underpinning these feeling reactions and other potential consequences are pools of pain. And there are times when these pools of pain burst into our consciousness, sometimes unexpectedly and with high emotional reality. Noel Davis has picked this up beautifully in his poem, The Dark Side of Now, which is a poem in his book, The Heart Waking and Breaking into Dance. And this is the first stanza of it. Yes, the dark side is ever here, the underbelly of our unfolding stories, neglected, disturbed, disruptive, persistent, the rebels from the depths of our dreaming, constant visitors. In the 7 days of now, until we wake and see, rise and take heed. Has Experience 15 expanded your awareness of pools of pain underpinning inner self-awareness wipeout, feeling reactions, and other potential consequences in your private self arena? Perhaps speak and or write what surfaces. There is a strategy which can help you shake hands with your pools of pain when they give you the invitation to. Gift yourself with 7 to 10 minutes at the end of the day, allowing pain realities of one or more of your actions or choices of the day to surface. Gently notice and receive them. Perhaps speak or write them. The next morning, gift yourself with soaking in any particular insight or feeling reaction that you noticed in your private self arena the night before. Experience 11 of layers of feeling reaction in my own stories that are stored. Experience 12 of how a first pattern of feeling reaction is repeated and becomes a survival strategy to cope with an imperfect world. Experience 13 of how survival strategies impinge on life and living. Experience 14 of inner self-awareness wipeouts, feeling reactions in my private self arena that are at first unconscious. And here in experience 15, it was about pools of pain. So, would you like to discover some more than aspects that underpin pools of pain? Experience 16. Thank you so much for sharing Experience 15.